Please welcome again Mads Mikkelsen. I actually, of course, this is open to all your questions, but I would like to start. I actually, I actually would start with what I perceive maybe the most extreme role you played in a long time, or probably for always, which is in Valhalla Rising. A man without any word, any line, with only one eye, basically an animal in the beginning that turns to man. So you were deprived of everything, or many things an actor has. How do you see it? Is it really one of the most extreme roles you ever played?
Yeah, it was extreme in a little different way. I mean, first of all, I was coming from a French-Russian film where I was learning French and Russian and to play the piano in 2 weeks. So I looked really forward to have no words, so it would be easy. But obviously, it's a different thing when you take away the language. That's one thing, but you take away the emotions from a character. There's psychology as well. It's very, very strange. But we looked at it as a painting, a melody. What I'm serving the film more than the film is serving my psychology, and so where the film go, I will go with it. But it was very strange the first couple of days, and I think I was talking a lot when I came home in the evening. Okay. But I did enjoy it. The really hard part was actually the physique of it, because the fight scenes that are extremely brutal. We did that in 0 degrees with no clothes on, and we were just basically killing each other. And so it's something you do when you're 19, and I was a little too old for that. Yeah.
Okay.
How much extra workout do you do for Valhalla Rising, and will you have to learn the sword fighting for the Three Musketeers?
This is a fitness question.
Yeah, this is a fitness question. Yeah. Well, actually, I didn't do that much workout in the sense of looking bigger in Valhalla Rising, because we were dealing with people who were slaves. They were eating really, really bad food. So we didn't want to go for the Arnold Schwarzenegger look, and I'm sure I can't get it anyway. So, but if you see the film, everybody's very skinny, very starved people, and that was the look we went for. And but obviously we had to be able to do all the physics up in the mountains. So I think I was cutting down on my cigarettes a little. And the sword fights, I'm going to learn some. I mean, I've been doing sword fights for different films, but every time we do something, it's always a new style, so we have to pick it up from scratch. This time it's going to be with the old classical French version, right? And the last time I did something was with a big sword, so it's different.
When did the creative impulses start for you?
I don't know. I mean, I think that I grew up with films. I grew up with what do you call it when you have it on radio, theater on radio? Hörspiele?
Hörspiele.
Yeah. My father was very addicted with that, and I grew up with Monty Python, listening and watching it.
That's how we first learned English.
Yeah, basically that's how we learned it. And there was a lot of words we didn't understand, but we could say them.
Yeah.
And Bruce Lee, I grew up with that. And so, but it was nothing I dreamed of. I didn't dream about being an actor, but as kids do, what film is possible of doing is that we identify with the characters. So I was not an actor, I was Bruce Lee.
Okay.
Okay. So I never dreamt of that. I always thought that being an actor was something you were born to do. I mean, if your father or mother was an actor, you could become it. But these days, everybody can become everything. So, but those days was different. So I realized when I was 25 that I was actually what they call acting school. I didn't know, so I tried that.
This is where it comes full circle from Valhalla Rising to the beginning or the mid of the 90s. It's the same director, Nicolas Winding Refn, that cast you for Pusher. It was kind of a breakthrough with an amazing initial scene of swearing for 10 minutes in a car.
Basically.
With Kim Bodnia. Yeah. Please tell us how you got selected, because I think you convinced him very, very fast to be the actor of Tony.
Yeah, I think that Nicolas was looking for people who are not actors. He did not like actors. He did not like theater actors. He wanted it to be real. But at the same time, he had 2 parts that were so big that people advised him to find some actors. And he didn't like anything. And then there was one guy who said, look, you should look at this guy from Aarhus. He's called Mads, and nobody understands what he's saying, but he does speak Danish. And I was speaking a very working class, very fast, very swearing language in my own life. And so he did an audition with me, and he wanted me to improvise on a text, which was Yeah, some swear words, but not really swearing. So I went for it, and I think he liked it, and so that was actually very much the part I was doing there. Later on, I learned how to act. I was just myself there.
Oh wow! Yeah, but then when you talk about close-ups, when you have nothing to say but just a face, it's incredible how you can maintain the energy. Coming back, for example, to Valhalla Rising, you actually with this role, you said basically you went back to the sketchbook of actors, and it is the gorilla thing, basic thing. This is animal. This is really.
Yeah, I was a little ashamed of doing it because it was a cliche in the '70s. What animal are you? You know, and. But I had to do it this time because he was an animal, and so I picked a gorilla, a skinny gorilla though.
Actually, 2005, 2006, there were two very important movements. After the Wedding was a wonderful film of Susanne Bier, and of course, James Bond, Casino Royale. Yeah. The reinvention of a series you actually did dislike before, you were not very interested in James Bond before.
Well, I was lying. I was at the audition, and they talked about the other Bond films and the other Bond villains and asked me which one was my favorite, and I was just going through in my head, I have never seen a Bond film. And I knew that was the wrong answer, so I started lying and saying different things, and I could see on the writer that, but you just said, yeah, but I mean, yeah, of course. You know. So I couldn't really get out of the lie, but I got the job anyway, so that was fine. But since then, I've seen them all with my son. We got the whole package from the Bond family, and I think it's beautiful TV. It's a beautiful thing.
I don't believe you.
No, but I mean, it was either James Bond or Bruce Lee. Those were the two energies of the days, you know. If you once you saw Bruce Lee, you couldn't go and see a guy standing with a gun like that. It was ridiculous, you know.
Yeah, okay.
So it was either or in my days.
All right. So how many creative possibilities did you have in creating Le Chiffre, which is really one of the most distinct villains ever in Bond history?
I think there was a certain amount of freedom to come up with ideas. But having said that, the script, you could tell immediately that it was a different approach to the whole Bond concept. I mean, the Bond was different. Obviously, the villain had to be different. It was written like a good story, a good crime story, and so it was just to dig in there and improve it and come up with ideas. But the basics were there, and so I think they did a really good work from the writers and director. But we did have, I was surprised, a certain amount of freedom to improvise and come up with ideas, even in a big Hollywood film. That was good.
Okay.
No, I mean, the torture scene was there, and for a long time, even after we shot it, there was a lot of discussions of taking it out. Not because they didn't like it, they loved it, but because of the whole concept of Bond. Can we see him like that? You know, was that too much? Should we have done something else? But in that scene, actually, normally in a Hollywood film, it's a fairly long scene. You would go, we do this moment, and we do this moment, then we film here this moment. You will never do the whole scene. But Daniel and me, obviously, we wanted to do the whole scene so we could get through where it's going to land, right? So we did that the whole day, and Daniel was sitting there screaming for a whole day, the whole scene. And that was fairly new for an American crew that we did such a long scene in one take. But it was fairly normal for us Europeans to do that.
Let's talk about the other side again a bit, about the choreography in your films. Being a dancer for such a long time, has that helped you a lot? Fight choreographies, do they come especially easy to you?
Yeah, as long as I don't look like a dancer when I fight. People don't like to see that, unless you're Gene Kelly, of course. Yeah, I think maybe it's more like the gymnast in me. I always done stunts when I was a kid, jumping off roofs and from cars that was driving, really stupid things, early jackass stuff. So I've always loved it. I've always been very aware on how you fly in the air and how you roll around and land, right? Having said that, the important thing with a stunt is that it is supposed to look as if you hurt yourself really bad.